Hi and welcome to the Property Development Derisked podcast, where we bring in the experts to help you keep your projects on track. In this episode, we've got Linden Dover here, founder and co-founder of Weaver Build, and essentially we're going to be talking everything domestic projects for architects and how to find the best builders to help your clients on their schemes. Welcome, Linden. Nice to have you on board.
Hey, Gonzalo. Thanks. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Excellent. First thing I would ask is, could you please give us a kind of bigger overview of Weaver and kind of for the audience and share what it's all about?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been sort of going for about over 6 years now. We're an online marketplace that helps introduce vetted contractors to architects and their clients on domestic extensions, renovations, and refurbs.
Excellent. And as well as that, it works the other way, doesn't it, in terms of builders can access clients and projects and architects?
Yeah, those vetted contractors, they are able to get introduced to projects in their locality, for projects when they're available, and the skill sets they have, and the sort of budgets they're looking for. So cuts through the noise for contractors and makes sure that they're not knocking on too many doors. They've just got a steady stream of projects that really suit their business.
Yeah, awesome. Is it your first business, or have you started one before that?
It's my first time being a co-founder and COO. Yeah. But no, I've had a different business. I've had a property development business where I was a director, and before that, I've been part of startups in the past.
Yeah, excellent. Speaking from experience. For us, RenKap was the first business, and starting a marketplace, I think, is double challenging. It's like you're starting two businesses that have to kind of grow simultaneously, side by side, with different customer types.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got three actors, so to speak, in our marketplace. You've got the architect who's bringing the projects. You've got their client who's obviously paying their bills and essentially contracting with the builder, and then you've got the builder themselves. So three different types of tone of voice and conversations and ideal customer profiles you've got to think about. So yeah, I feel your pain, Gonzalo, but yeah, it's an interesting space to be in, and I think for me it was the culmination of a whole bunch of different roles previously. So yeah, as I alluded to, my background sort of in construction management right at the beginning after university, and then I went into site management, construction management, and then property development. I had a stint also working for a scale-up startup called One Fine Stay that got bought out, and that was sort of more property management from my perspective. I was helping look after sort of properties under management when we were renting them out, a bit like a high-end Airbnb.
Did that give you the bug?
That gave me the bug. Yeah, that gave me the confidence, the excitement to get stuck into my own venture, and get the funding that we needed to get going. And yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, amazing. And in terms of those, you've got three actors in your marketplace. We've got two, so I can see the immediate kind of extra complexities there. In terms of the client, which is a homeowner who wants to, let's say, do a renovation or something. So can they also use Weaver as well to get access to architects and find architects in the area? Is that part of it? How's that work?
So at the moment, we're offering homeowners access if they've got plans and they're ready to actually look for contractors to get prices back. We're not yet offering architects a connect service to find homeowners. That's definitely in the pipeline. It's something that we want to explore, but we're concentrating on our core at the moment, which is helping celebrate quality contractors and getting them in front of projects that are actually ready to go. So watch the space on that one.
Yeah, no, exciting, and yeah, focusing is quite important when you're an early stage business, isn't it?
For sure.
Awesome. Okay, and so our backgrounds are quite similar in terms of we both worked in the property sector before. I was kind of cost consultant, project manager, worked at consultancy. You worked at developer, and yeah, there's so many opportunities in this space, especially when you're kind of have technical background in the sector. So yeah, I love hearing other people doing that journey. So yeah, all the best to you guys. I'm a big supporter of Weaver, and yeah, want to push it out as much as possible. So one question I've got, which I'm sure my audience might have as well, is we're talking about domestic projects here. can you just expand a little bit more about the type of projects that get kind of commissioned through Weaver?
Yeah, they're typically domestic extensions, household applications using an architect. So our sort of average is around about 200,000. So that's a sort of full house refurb, or maybe a side rear and full house refurb. In London, M25 is where we're operating at the moment. And we do have smaller ones that come on. Typically, homeowners direct might come to us with plans. And we do get the outliers, we do get the larger projects. We do have contractors that have experience all the way up to sort of £3 million. But that's where we're really making the body of our work is sort of 150k to sort of 800,000. That's where we get most of our activity on the marketplace. And they come with full tender pack ready to price for our contractors.
Yeah, and in terms of those projects, there's mainly kind of extensions and refurbishments and anything to do with a homeowner's individual house. So your end client, it's kind of like B2C really. The end client is a customer rather than a business. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, we do. We have had developers on the site. We did 8 flats in East London for a developer, and we do have contractors that are used to working with developers and are looking to expand their business. I think we segment our contractors into, again, we're quite keen on profiling our users. So we call the younger contractors, we group them into sort of growing stars, and we have slightly mature and older contractors, sort of like the outfits, and they're looking normally to try and expand their business. They're looking for different revenue streams. They're thinking about how we can make that next step onto maybe commercial or developer led projects. So we're helping the contractors grow, and we're seeing that they're wanting different types of projects. So as over the last 6 years, we've seen that success, and we've shared in that success with them. But yeah, absolutely, we're very good. The secret sauce to Weaver is matching the right contractor with the right project. So we do have repeating developers using us, but mainly for smaller schemes. I'd say that was maybe the outlier up at 8, 10 units. We're normally sort of small infill sites or single house developments.
Yeah, great. And the in terms of those developers, you mentioned kind of they are defining what kind of projects they want to work on. Are they quite picky on what they want to work on? Does everyone have a range, and then you match what they're looking for with the project? Is that part of it? How does that work?
Yeah, so as a contractor, if you're trying to sign up, obviously there's a very strict vetting process. So a lot of contractors don't actually come up to mustard, so they don't get in. But and I can go through the vetting process later. But essentially, part of the onboarding process is asking the contractor about their preferences, and that's location. It's about what type of contracts they want to be on, and also the skill sets that they have to be able to then match them properly to the projects. And part of the vetting is getting past project history. So you're only as good as your last project as a contractor a lot of the time. So what we want to do is have a almost like a CV in terms of past projects allocated to them and available when you get matched for the architect or the homeowner or the developer to see your credentials. So past project references are really a key part of our vetting, and you'll see photos of the previous projects they've worked on and how long it took, and what the budget was, or the contract value was, and whether Weaver has verified that project or not. And so for us to verify it, we send the referee photos of the project, get them to fill in a questionnaire, and then we call them as well. So it's double sort of vetting on past projects.
Amazing, because who does that as a homeowner? Do you know what I mean? Who actually does that? I remember we had a quite big extension done in my family home, and finding a builder that's available at that point in time, and then afterwards actually understanding the vetting process and knowing how to do it if you're not from the sector is a bit of a challenge. So yeah, I can see that being of massive value, just to have the peace of mind that these are all developers that have been there, done it before, they've been around for a while, they're not going to go bankrupt anytime soon, and they're likely to deliver a great project again.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the the reasons why I started Weaver was when I was a developer, I had the unfortunate incident of being stung by a builder, and it's really painful. I wasn't savvy enough maybe at the time to really do the due diligence that I should have done. I was going off the merits of his previous experience at different companies. I didn't look at specifically his company today and how old it was. I didn't get references for his company like that I was contracting with, and so I learned the hard way, and was knocking heads with my also co-founder Greg Keane, and he was running an architectural interiors practice at the time, and he was saying he's finding it really hard to get good, reliable contractors who were available at times that his clients needed to deliver projects. And so we sort of said, why isn't this online? Why can't we, find a curated list of contractors that match my project within 24 hours? Why do I have to go through this sort of Rolodex and sort of murky sort of looking online and not really knowing who people are and getting stung? So that it was definitely from first-hand experience of going through that painful journey of contracting with the wrong builder.
Yeah, and a lot of people would have gone through that same process, and they wouldn't. And even if they wanted to vet someone and better understand them, they might not know the best way to do that. And some developers might, some builders might even. Is this something you've experienced? They might even think, "Oh, you're asking too many questions. I want to go elsewhere."
Yeah, I think builders get a bad rep a lot of the time. They get tarnished with a brush of a few builders who are unscrupulous and rogue. So I feel for them. They work extremely hard. They get up very early. They're traveling a lot most of the time, and they're juggling a lot of different hats, and I think they do get a bad reputation. But I think what we're trying to do is celebrate the contractors and really match them to projects where they don't think like that. They're not thinking, oh, actually, I don't, I want to work with an architect. I want to be part of a design team. I want to fit into this conversation. You might not put your single individual, contractor who likes working with homeowners and having that direct relationship on somewhere a contract that the architect needs someone to be part of a design team and problem solve with them. So I think it's that matchmaking that really stands us apart and help make sure that you've got the right caliber of contractor who's like-minded, who's thinking. I think that's, you've got to think about, well, what do I want? What type of contractor? And we can go on to what procurement route am I looking for? I think all of those, that's what Weaver's good at, is making sure that the builder doesn't feel like that when they're going into these contracts. They're not asking those questions. But sure, I think that does happen, but then they haven't been matched correctly.
Yeah, and in terms of that mindset, there's a bit of educating the homeowner as well in some instances when requesting these projects, because it's quite difficult for a developer to even provide, a builder to even provide kind of an estimate of a cost. Like, clients always want, how much is it going to cost for me to do this and this? And in any other sector, you kind of get a price and it's that's what it is and you move on. Where in this sector, there's provisional sums, there's allowances, you don't know exactly how things are going to be. You don't know what's behind that wall. We'll find out once we dig that it's all okay. Yeah. Things crop up, right? Weather, whatever. So, yeah, I can see it is a challenging environment for builders. But one of the things that you just mentioned, which I thought was a really great opportunity about builders working on Weaver, is before, in this sector, they kind of looked at working, if they worked with an individual house, with individual homeowners, they kind of see it as a one project, and I'll probably never see those clients again, right? I've done their extension, they're not going to need another one. Whereas with yourselves, they do an extension and kind of refurbishment, and then they built a relationship with the architect, they built a relationship with the Weaver platform, they're on there, now people can see that they've already done a project on there, and then it kind of builds on top of the last one, where previously you kind of lose the last project, other than it being a reference, you kind of lose it, where here it's building upon that.
Definitely, yeah, I think there's a couple of things there. I think sometimes builders are so busy, they find it hard to maybe put all of their projects into a well-designed website or a well-designed portfolio, and so Weaver can definitely help that with their sort of Weaver profile, and people can look at it and check out their history and add photos to it. So that's one sort of merit, but there's also part of our continuous vetting process as well. So we like to put forward contractors obviously have worked with Weaver in the past, and it adds to their statistics on their profile, but it also gives us the confidence to promote them to more projects. And you're right, that the more projects you do, the higher up the ranking you'll be on being picked for the projects that are coming from architects we've got good relationships with. So yeah, it's self-fulfilling. The better you do on the platform, the more projects you're going to get access to, for sure.
So coming on to the architect side of the platform, so for them, just explain the process. So they have a site, they upload the details, and then they get kind of match made with local builders that can support. Is there a pricing? Just explain that process,
please.
Yeah,
sure. So most architects have worked with contractors in the past, unless they're extremely green and just starting, but they might not always be available when they need, or they might not have enough to have a competitive tender situation, and they're looking to find contractors in a specific location or have specific skill sets, especially with environmental and sustainable building materials. They're looking maybe for a specific builder. So they come to us when they've got, typically when they're just about to finish putting together their tender pack, and they're looking to long list contractors and then get a tender ready list, so they're getting at least 3 to 4 quotes back to get a market price. That's what you need. Obviously, I think I'm teaching people to suck eggs who are listening to this. If you get 2, you don't know whether the prices are higher or lower. You get 3, obviously you can see who the outlier is, and you can then obviously interrogate the 2 that come in similar. So you're looking for that, and so architects are looking for good contractors that are suitable, and they want to have a level playing field. They don't want a one-man band and like someone with a lot of with the back office. They want to have a competitive environment. So you've done your tender pack, you're looking for builders, you come to Weaver. It's easy to sign up, takes 2 minutes. It's free for architects to use up to a certain size of practice. Typically, you're sort of 1 to 10 people practice, doing maybe 4 to 10 tenders a year. It's actually free for you guys to use. And once you've uploaded it, it asks you a series of questions about the project, and upload the tender pack, and then press start matching. And within 24 hours, you'll have email alerts coming through, and hopefully by the end of a few days, you'll have at least 3 or 4 options for you to look at their profiles, start messaging them, start calling them directly from the platform now as well, and arranging your site visits. So
the architect can liaise directly with those builders once you've made the introduction.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. And we know you might have one builder of your own, perhaps, so you can actually include them on the platform. There's no charge to the contractor, but then it allows you to have one place to just send all of the tender documents out in one go.
And I'm guessing also you vetted them, so they get the benefit that you've vetted one of their existing.
We can do, yeah.
Builders.
If you want us to, yeah, we have the service of being able to vet your contractors, so we can take them through the same vetting process that we do, for sure. Yeah, something we can offer.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, and so you say for architects it's free if they're a certain size. Yep. What's the cost if they're a little bit bigger, and how does the kind of pricing work for architect clients, especially on the domestic projects?
Yeah, typically at the moment we're working with smaller architects, so it's always normally free. But if you are a sort of growing practice where you're sort of more than sort of 6 tenders per month, or you want more than 2 cost estimates per week from us, which is another service that we offer, then it's about £175 per month. But yeah, as I said, typically most architects that we're in touch with are that sort of 1 to 10 person practice, doing sort of domestic extensions. But yeah, get in touch.
What's the cost estimate? Me being a previous QS, very interested. What's the kind of cost estimate product or offering?
Yeah, so we put together an extension cost calculator, which is using the kind of RIC standard build estimate line items you'd expect, and feeding from SPONS and BCIS data and some of our Weaver data as well. We put it together with a QS, and it's something that was born out of the fact that we were getting a lot of architects saying to us, well, my clients are a bit over worried about pricing, and they're in a tricky situation, architects, because you're not necessarily trained in quantity surveying or cost estimation. It's not something that is something that you've been trained in, and you're having to then give them maybe a pounds per square meter price, or maybe it's a collation of a few projects you've done recently, and maybe you're looking at some data as well and trying to manipulate it and thinking about, well, this is roughly, what I think it might cost within a range. And that's kind of it really stings if suddenly they've anchored, and a lot of clients do this, they anchor it to that price, and then when the tenders come back 3 times that, then the architect has got egg on their face and they go, oh well, look, it was just a guide, and then suddenly they're working for free doing value engineering or changing the design, so they can get themselves into hot water quite quickly if their client is anchoring them to a price they gave. But it's a tricky dance, because you want to have rigor. You want to tell the client, well, look, each stage we should be doing a cost plan. You should be thinking about, I think, that seamless glazing is going to cost you another 30,000. Do you really want to go that far? So I understand that it's a difficult dance they have to do. So we came up with this estimate report, which once you upload the project, you upload at least planning drawings, we can produce a bespoke report that gives you line items, substructure, services, decoration, etc., so that you can go back to your client and say, look, there's an independent report from Weaver who are plugged into the tendering space, and this is what they've come up with, which sits alongside your pounds per square meter. It gives you confidence to take them from planning to technical design, and hopefully helps you sort of win more business as an architect. But yeah,
it makes me slightly nervous.
Does it?
Well, in terms of now you're the one recommending, so or advising, and it's kind of like, obviously we're tech companies, we don't want to be advising like a consultant would.
True, I hear you, but I think because it's at that point where there's no fixtures and fittings, there's no client supply items, it's a range, and we also break it down by individual small and large contractor to give you different overheads and profit and preliminaries, so that we're very explicit, and we say this is a range, and it's feeding off data that is, as I said, all those different areas. And it's hopefully gives them a guide. It's not again like an exact, because it can't be an exact, because you're at planning stage and you haven't dug into the structure. You don't know what the steel load, bending moments are. You don't know how large all of the elements are going to be at that point.
But if they progress through the system with yourselves and then go out to the market, they'll actually start getting relatively fixed cost. There might be some allowances, provisional sums and stuff, but at least the majority should be kind of agreed before they press the button.
Yeah, exactly. We see it as a loss leader, as a helping hand to the architects to get their clients into a point where they feel secure enough to go forward to technical design and get to tender. And then obviously the next litmus test is the actual tender that we can help with, getting you good contractors who will give you an accurate price to help you decide whether to go forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. And if obviously you go through this process a lot, so if I was to say what is kind of the your sales pitch to those kind of that architect type that you're going for, what is kind of your go to market, your positioning, your sales pitch to them?
The architects, I'd say, don't always go for the devil in terms of contractors. We understand that a lot of pet builders, are getting complacent, or they might not have. They might be easier to go with because they know your detailing, and maybe you've known them for 10, 20 years, but they might not be the right fit for your client, or they might not be able to start at the right time. So I'd say have an open mind. This is a great way to get to know a wider network of contractors, typically who have been vetted by other architects. We're talking to other architects they've worked with, so you're getting an architect vetted network of contractors who are ready to start on projects. And as you alluded to earlier, Gonzalo, these contractors are sort of loyal to us and are able to give potentially availability to us because they see us as a long-term strategy to find business. So yeah, they're keen and interested in tripping over themselves to do a good job from projects that they found through Weaver. They're not just maybe 1 or 2 projects a year through an architect.
Yeah. What we're seeing as well with some architects now, especially in this environment, is they're starting to expand further outside of their geographical areas that they had before. And we have the similar thing, right? We've got vetted surveyors, you've got vetted builders, and some architects have really good relationships with their own surveyors or builders. But as soon as they start going a little bit further off field and they win a project that's really far away, then all of a sudden they don't have someone that can deliver there. So having that network that can offer in areas they haven't expanded to yet, you're helping that organization to kind of expand while still delivering a really good service for clients.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had some architects say they feel more confident in being able to offer tendering because they know that we're here to help them with that side of the business. And we're here to help them with cost estimation and planning, and then contractor matching and tendering. So yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Amazing. Well, look, awesome conversation, and thank you so much. So architects on our network, you now know, you can easily find builders, go on there, get quotes, and kind of get the estimates at an early stage, which is obviously super helpful because that's a challenging thing to do. And Linden, if anyone wanted to reach out and get in touch, what would be the best way to get hold of you?
Yeah, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, or you can get me on Linden at weaver.build. So those are 2 ways. But yeah, just drop me a line.
Cool. I'll put those contact details as well in this podcast as well, so people can access that. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us, Linden, and great session. Also for everyone, see you next week.
Thanks, Gonzalo.
Thank you. Thanks, Linden.